Hey Dot Sisters and our friends across the globe. It is Shannon Crotty, founder and CEO of Polka Dot Powerhouse. Today I have such a special interview with this year's first Rockstar Refer status earner. And this is not her first rodeo. This is her second year hitting the status, is Jen B. Jen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm super excited to be here. A little earlier than last year it happened.
Like way earlier, I think, right?
Yeah, I would say like 4 or 5 months or something like that. I mean, literally, what are we at? Like mid-year? We still have about 6 months to go.
Yeah. So let me ask you, let's jump right in it because you just kind of
Mhm.
prompted me. One of the questions that I had last year, it was more close to the deadline. And
Yes.
I know you like this is the most ridiculous question for Gen B. If you're part of our community and you don't know Gen B yet, you better get on it, right? But everybody knows that you jump in and you either jump in with both feet, both arms, and head underwater, or you don't jump in.
Right.
But I'm curious that, okay, last year you did it. There was no doubt you were going to do it. You did it. But once your brain, like the human brain says, achievable, and now this year you hit it earlier, do you think the fact that you hit it last year enabled you to hit it earlier this year?
Well, absolutely. I mean, and I love this kind of conversation because it's a lot of the work I do, right? What we know is what we focus on expands, and what we know is that when we have evidence to support whatever our belief system is, that we can go do it again and again and again. And to kind of take it a little bit back, because again, I go vulnerable and I go deep real fast. I became a dot sibling on January 16th of 2023. Yes. And then I had 9 months, and I didn't even know like the Rockstar Refer was really a thing at that point, right? Like I'm literally just dumping at the dot pool, and there's so much dotting to do,
Right.
that it was not something in my mind. But I got to nine, and ultimately I was like, I'm a little competitive. I was like, nine, darn it! Like I want 12. I mean, if I'm
Right.
gonna go that far, you go to 12, right?
Right.
So yeah, last year was just like, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? And it did. And I was actually scrolling through my pictures on my phone because I remember the moment that I got the news, and I was so emotional about like it happened. So this year going into it, yeah, like I was like, we're gonna do it again. And on September 1st of 2024, I got my first one, which is like one day in. And then I was just like, I guess, and the thing, Shannon, for me is I don't necessarily like I don't have like a list where I'm like, okay, we got to go find the 12 and these are who the 12 are. It's literally just talking about this every single day. It's talking about the people I hang out with every single day.
Yeah.
So it definitely helped. And I went into it thinking, yes, we're going to do it again.
Yeah. And you just let it, you're doing great, leading me into questions that I'm like, that a question that's sitting in there. Because there's so many dot sisters that they hit one or two, which is great, right? Like it's great that they're bringing new sisters into our community, new siblings into our community. But then they get like how do the people hitting 12 and 20 and beyond, how do they even do that? Are they going to everybody with their QR code? Like what is happening? And you just said, and actually this is almost the exact verbiage you used is how I've heard managing directors hit different, statuses to have different people come at launches or hit statuses to earn trips or things like that. It's almost that exact same verbiage that, I just, and you didn't say the word, but basically I just talked about it with passion, with the
Right.
passion that I have in the talking that I was already doing. Can you speak to that? Because I think that, and that's a whole nother recording is that mindset around what is accomplishable and how you accomplish it. But truly, people join a community like Polka Dot because a lot of times because someone just was so overwhelmed with their experience and they're like, well, I want that too. I don't know if you want to speak to a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dots has changed my life. Dots has changed my business. I wholeheartedly believe that beyond an amazing wife, if it wasn't for the dothood, the sisterhood, I wouldn't be interviewed right now. I think my way would have been back to corporate, unfortunately. Because entrepreneurship can be hard, and because I had certain expectations regarding lifestyle and finances and things. Okay. So and I've kind of changed my story a little bit because I used to say like I went to a dot meeting 16 days after I left corporate America. I no longer say that. What I say is dot siblings found me 16 days after I left corporate America. And basically the way I felt is that there was an extension of the hand, extension of the spirit, extension of whatever, and saying, come be with us. And at that point, when you like sign a dotted line, like you don't exactly know what it is. But very quickly, I started to realize that these women had my back, that these people showed up for me, that they picked up the phone when I was having a hard day. And so for me, a lot of what I do is I love to tell stories. So when somebody's coming to me or we're sharing vulnerably or here in a meeting and they're like, yeah, I'm struggling with this or I'm struggling with that, my mind automatically thinks of once upon a time, dot sibling experience, fill in the blank, right? Like this thing happened while being a dot sister that you need to know about. And because the way I show up, these conversations typically happen in the first 5 or 10 minutes. I'm talking with someone that I don't quite know well, or I've seen a couple times, but I don't know whether they're a dot sibling or not. Um, I engage with my story. I show up and I tell it. I'm super passionate about it. And ultimately, the next question from the person is, where are your meetings? When do I go? How does this work? And I'm like, well, in fact, you can just be my guest for the next one, right? And we'll exchange some dates back and forth. And maybe I can't make it, but I'll give the MD a heads up that somebody's going to be in the room. And if I can make it, great. But when you speak about it from the soul, Shannon, and you speak about it genuinely, and you have a story that relates, like I just think it's such an easy yes. It's such an easy yes. So that's how I build it. I don't, again, like I wish I could tell you the most amazing strategy in the world. The strategy comes from in here and the stories that I've had in
Yeah,
this experience.
absolutely. Because polka dot's a feeling. And
Hmm.
so if you were to throw a QR code, each dot
No,
has a
yeah.
referral code. If you were to throw that up, this means nothing to me. Like speak to my heart. Like, and people need more of that because we are doing more and more at a distance, right? Which sometimes like we're thankful for technology, but nothing moves
Right.
me like someone expressing something that they've experienced. So really, you can tell people and they can go, like I think if it was me and I went to a polka dot website, I'd be like, this is it, this is for me, right? But there's so many people, and it will amp it if you share with them the heartfelt feelings that you felt when you were there, because it helps them understand why it's important.
Absolutely. It's a thing until it becomes an experience or a feeling, right? And so what I'm sharing with you is that experience and feeling of being a dot sibling. I think that the only like strategy piece that I've been a lot more intentional about is when they're like, well, tell me more, or like, how do I sign up for a meeting, or like, etc. Um, I don't just say, hey, go to the Polka Dot website, go look for, no, like, I'm very intentional with like, okay, here's my link, here's my guest link. I'd love it, if you use the link kind of thing. And then and I know it's so well off the top of my or the back of my like in my head that I just say it. I'm go on the website, press this, press that, find this meeting. I'm going to this one. And so there's a little bit of guidance. It's not like, by the way, go to this website, go do your thing. I'll never talk to you again.
Right.
Right. In the next week, I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna say, hey, did you grab your seat? Right? Or what did you think of the meeting? Right? Or, are you gonna be are you gonna join us? So it's I'm very invested in them becoming a dot sibling because again, when we look around, nobody does anything alone. And so somebody somewhere brought in that dot sibling that completely changed my life. Somebody had to say, yo, did you know this is a thing? I want to do that for somebody else. And it doesn't have to be with me. Maybe I'm bringing in a dot sibling because another dot sibling needs her. I just don't know that yet. So it gets very emotional for me very quickly, Shannon.
Yeah, and I think that one of the reasons is that you and I both understand impact and how one connection can change the trajectory. I'm not, nobody needs to be changed, right? We all have areas that we're trying to improve, where we're trying to grow, new goals we want to hit. But the ability to change, I've seen it so many times through the community that we're in, through Polka Dot Powerhouse, that just a simple connect, all of a sudden connected that person to 10 more people or
Right.
gave them a new thought they hadn't thought. And so when you understand how impactful each connect is or potentially is, some connects just I've felt better. Thank goodness,
Right.
right?
Right.
I needed that today. But so not everything is going to be a life altering thing, but when you understand how human connection
Mhm.
can change lives and the ability to be vulnerable and allow people to be themselves and allow them to dream the dreams that they're afraid to say in front of an
Right.
atmosphere they're not safe in, how that can change everything. You want more people to join because you understand that the power of a bigger community as it
Mhm.
grows means that we're connected to more of the world.
Right. Absolutely. And again, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we both have had experiences in our life where we needed other people.
Absolutely.
And we didn't know necessarily where those people were going to show up. Half the battle is showing up yourself and then being able to receive from it. So I think back on a lot of those stories, right? Of like 8, 9, 20-year-old Jen needed this.
Right.
What took you so long to create it, Shannon? I'm kidding.
I'm
Right?
battling a
But
puppy.
yes,
Oh, who's here? You
but
hear this? Yeah.
it's that sense of like community. And honestly, I haven't found anything else like this anywhere else because I don't think there is anything like this anywhere else.
It's the magic of Tina, right? It's the
It's the
magic.
magic of Tina.
Uh,
Yes.
oh my goodness. Waffles. He wants to be heard on the interview for sure. So
Is Waffles a Dot sibling? Like, has he been like embraced as a?
he
Do you
every
connect Waffle? You got your own calendar link? I'm kidding.
he needs his own account. It's Waffles world now. So
Uh,
um, but one thing I wanted to say is, and I know people will argue with me, and I believe what you do and how you do most things is how you do one thing is how you do most things. So I want to point out that it's not just that Jen B came in, she's a part of our community, and she also referred people. Like it is the fact very quickly when you're a part of our community and we have members who've been members for 12 years, whatever the number is, and they're all equally important, but you get a member who comes in and very quickly everybody thinks that they must have been here from day one, like they are so ingrained
right,
in our fabric,
right.
right? And you are one of those members. So I think that one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I think there's a lot of people who join a community like Polka Dot to solve the problems. Like I love gym memberships and not no disrespect to that, but they join like a gym membership on January
Yeah,
1 and by January 10 they're out of it, right? Because it
right,
didn't solve every problem they had.
right,
I think there's a lot of people who join something like Polka Dot expecting it to solve everything and not expecting to have to take any action. Like if you touch base with them later, well, no one reached out to me. Yeah, well, that's not how this works. There's like 3,000 members. How are we going to know you're here? I wanted to get your thoughts on the best way, whether it's Polka Dot or another community.
yeah,
What is the best way to feel that impact quicker in a community
yeah.
like ours?
Awesome. So yes, I sometimes get the how long you been a Dot sibling, and I'm like a little more than 2 years, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I just Mandy McGowan will tell the story, but I just knew from the moment that I went to that first meeting, that I needed you to take my credit card. I just needed it badly. Like, please take this from me, right? Please let me be in. But yeah, one of the things that I did quickly is I tried to figure it out. And honestly, I'm not afraid of asking questions and asking for help, and I think that's part of it. But one of the ladies that and there's so many Dot siblings I've had amazing connects with, but I'll just mention her real quick. Julie Reddington, freaking love that woman. Talk about a powerhouse. And one of her favorite lines, and one of the things she says all the time is just show up. Just show up. You don't need to have all the answers to all the questions. You don't need to, have your perfect quote unquote elevator pitch. No. Like poke your head in a meeting, attend the meeting. I say the magic happens outside the meetings. Okay, the meetings are great, they're great structure. I know what's going on in the chapter, etc. But truly, where my heart belongs is in that connect. And so, who's that face that you keep seeing on the Facebook groups? I got one of those this morning. Keep seeing your face everywhere. Who are you? Well, who are you? Let's connect, right? Kind
Right.
of thing, right? And so scheduling at least I would say 2 to 3 connects a month. I mean, I don't know how many I'm at. Some months probably 20, 25. It brings me a lot of joy. I do a lot of it, okay? But it's because I love it as well. The other thing I would say is there are so many opportunities to attend beyond the meetings. I just went to my first worldwide meeting. I don't know what took me so long last week. I'm freaking amazing. I was just like, I get to be here in my own house, do my thing, and meet with 35 siblings. Like, how lucky am I?
Right.
And so find those opportunities, whether it's virtual, whether it's in your own chapter, whether it's through a dot love committee, an event committee, a whatever committee. And I tell people you don't necessarily like, I know I'm an extreme extrovert. I'm going to talk to anybody who walks into a room. That doesn't have to be your story. You literally can just be the person who shows up, gives it their best, brings their energy, whatever that energy may be. As long as it's positive, you're going to make connections. You're going to make friends. People are going to see you. They're going to ask questions. And so that's what I say. Just show up beyond the meeting. Meetings are great. That's at a minimum, I would think. Beyond that, go do your thing. Go hang out with the people you love. So I'm very passionate about this and can go on and on.
Yeah.
But when I first went into the dot hood, the sisterhood, I was like, this is, and I was at a different place in my business. I said, this is my new full-time job. That's it.
Right.
I don't even have to go anywhere else, right? Between everything that's coming at me, I can literally do this for 40 hours a week. I also had a business to run, so of course there's priorities, but there's plenty of opportunities.
Yeah. I love that. I love, and here's maybe if someone is watching this on the YouTube channel and is not familiar or is brand new into the Dot family, Jen is an extreme extrovert. I am an ambivert. I can't people as much as Jen can. It doesn't bring me the same level. Like I love people, but I can't, right?
Right.
You don't have to fit into a certain mold. You don't have to. Jen is an amazing extrovert. I'm amazing ambivert. There are
Yeah,
amazing introverts in our community. That having the courage, like you said, just show up, but having the courage to show up and be you. There are other people who will be attracted to that no matter what that
100%.
looks like, right? You don't need to keep the same pace with someone who's doing something that is draining for you. You just need to be you and just show up, right?
Just
Like
show up.
you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a little plug for celebration in here. Is
Yeah.
that cool?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
cool.
It's exactly the same thing. Just show up. It's a different experience in a meeting, of course, right? It is fully heart-centered, see where you are, catch where you're at, but even this extreme extrovert, like last year was my first. I needed to go from my room for an hour and a half, turn off the lights, and just be like, all right, cool, let's go again, right?
Right.
And so just come and join, come and do the thing and just show up. And the rest of it, I know sometimes we're very worried about the control and the how. The rest of it will figure itself out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm freaking excited for celebration this year. Now I've got a new yearly tradition I didn't even know about till I attended last year because really when you go to one, you want to go to all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
Jen is a speaker or a main stage speaker this
thank
year
you.
at Celebration. And that, that's another thing too. Like our speaker jury, we judge, we have a panel. I think this year there was 9 jury members. And of course, we judge everybody with the same criteria and all that. We don't have favorites, but did everybody know who Jen B was? Yeah.
Mhm.
All the jury members, like there were people who applied that you're like, oh, I don't know them yet, right? But we all went in this familiarity because you're so involved in the sisterhood. And again, what that looks like for Jen B might look different for someone else. Just like Jen said, like Julie said, just show up.
Just show
Let
up.
it figure itself out. And you're in a safe place. Like 100% of our members have signed up for a connection.
Hmm.
You're probably, I mean, we might have different communication skills and speeds and all of that, but your chances of getting rejected here are pretty minimal, right? And if you
Yes.
are someone, because we don't all gel the same, right? If you don't gel with someone, they're going to probably send you to someone that you would gel well with.
Right.
So you're in a safe place to be yourself. and to like just that breathing that we sometimes, I don't know about you, Jen, forever when I used to work out, I had this trainer that just had to remind me constantly, you're holding your breath again, you're holding your breath again. And I think about that in life, how often we hold our breath. And one of the ways I describe polka dot is the place to that you remember that it's good to breathe and that you can breathe those big breaths in and out.
Absolutely. I tell folks all the time, I have a lot of folks in kind of my own orbit who want to speak, and they want to create new programs, and they want to do all these things, right? And some, when they're not, whether they are or not a dot sibling, this is what I say. I say the safest community to show up, to speak, to have a connect, to proceed without judgment. It's dots.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, I just don't know, but my heart's over there and I want to try it, it's dots.
Right.
That's where you try things, because the reality is that most of the people in the room, if not all the people, they're going to get you. They're not going to judge you. They're going to have grace for you. And so, yeah, it's flipping amazing. Um, and full vulnerability. I mean, for me, yeah, last year at Celebration, it was a lot of that. It was like, doesn't matter what the story is, what the past has been, what your itty bitty is saying.
Yeah.
Look, look at how many amazing people have your back.
Right.
I'm
And
getting emotional just talking about it, because how do you not get emotional about it?
right.
Um, yeah. So, anywho, that's why I talk about this so much.
And that's
Yeah.
why you've hit the status, right? You talk about this with passion, and the people that are meant to be a part of our community will. Like it's almost like that desperation. You try so hard, just let it roll. Just
Yeah.
talk to people that you feel inclined to talk to. And let them know that we exist. And there's a lot of people we talk about all the time on upper leadership about this epidemic that we are faced with right now. And you can go on any of the social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, any of them, and you'll see like a 20-year-old saying, "Well, how do we make friends now?" And you'll see an
Right.
80-year-old saying,
Yeah.
"How do we make friends now?" And everywhere in between. And you're like, you don't want to start plastering the comments with like that link, right? And look like
Right.
that person, but you're like, I got the key.
Right. Right. I
No?
have the answer to your test, right?
Right.
Or the answer. Yeah, absolutely. It's doesn't matter. Like, again, it doesn't matter. I guess that's what I'm gonna like the judgment, right? Like there is none here. And I love a little reel you did about 2, 3 weeks ago. Waffles was in it. And it was like, just show up, you authentically, you unapologetic, you without judgment. I wore the shirt today on purpose. It says, "Be yourself"
Love it.
with the
Yeah.
B. Because I was like, that's what this is all about. So,
Yeah, I love that. Are there any, number one, we are all quite sure you're going to hit 20. Not that that would
okay.
affect any way that we feel about you or anything, but you've already hit 12. We've got months and months, and you
Yeah.
are a person that loves our community and speaks highly of it, and that is a gift for all of us. So
Yep.
you're going to hit 20. Is there anything that you would say to a dot sister who is, just kind of struggle busing it because they don't know how they want to refer other people to Polka Dot. They don't know how to do it without selling, sounding like a sales thing. Like, what would your advice be to them?
Yeah. So I'm at 13 now, so I guess it's closer to 20. It just 20 sounds like a lot, but we're gonna get there, right? And again, it's a lot of joy and anywho, I'm not even gonna focus on the number because it brings me so much joy when I get there. Yes.
Right.
So what I would tell this dot sibling, number one, I'm always here to connect. If you're like, Jen, I really got this in my heart. How do I do this? How do I ask? Happy to connect with any sibling that goes through that experience. I'm going to ask you to reflect on your story. What is your dot story? What is what dots has brought into your life that maybe you were looking for decades and found when you arrived? And think about your story and leverage your story. And this isn't about selling to anybody. For me, it's I'm sharing, there's curiosity, and I'm not just going to let you sit in your curiosity and not help you out. That just doesn't feel human to me. So, hey, here's how you learn more. And I would just say reflect on your story, and it's not a sales pitch. We don't pitch as dots. That's not what we do. We invite people, and to each their own. You know, you mentioned this in my last interview last year, so I'm going to mention it again. When you look at my profile, yes, there are 13 in this calendar year. I think since I've been a dot sibling, I've had 35. There's like 420 some clicks on that link. So don't expect that you're going to talk to one person and it's going to be a yes and all it's going to take is 12. Because this isn't about selling. This isn't about a numbers game. This is about creating relationships and connections with people. And those people will take the right step when they're ready, but you got to share. I think there's nothing worse than saying to somebody, hey, you've got a problem. I can solve that for you, but I'm not going to tell you the answer. No, you do. And they will show up when they show up, my friends. Okay. Nothing would bring me more joy than taking that stage in October with 2, 3, 5, or 20 stout siblings who are on the same journey. So let's do it. I want to do it together.
Absolutely. And here's the thing too. I remember, I own Polka Dot, so most people probably have unfollowed me by now because I just kind of everything I post is about Polka Dot, right? I was a realtor for many years and started Polka Dot, and there was someone who had been sitting. They never said anything. They watched everything. Finally, like 6 years after I started Polka Dot, and we'd been friends the whole time, but I wasn't gonna like shove it down their throat or anything. But I was posting about it. They finally said to me, tell me what this dot thing is. Like 6 years in. So
Yeah,
you never know who's watching you grow and saying, hey, like I've seen you grow a lot, or I've seen you're so happy, or I see you feel like you've got connections and things like that. You never know who's watching and how long it takes someone. Like Gen B jumps in, Shannon Crotty jumps in, but not everybody does that. And that there's nothing wrong with that. Some people got to put a toe in or get near the pool first or whatever. You never know when someone is going to contact you saying, okay, now tell me what this is all about.
100%. And also don't assume that just because people know the thing that they're going to go to the thing. Like many times for us, it's asking them to join us.
Right.
Like how many times have we sat, right, and knowing something or wanting something, but it's been hard to take the step. But when somebody says, hey, can you come and join me? Can you do this thing together? You're like, yeah, man, I wish you would have asked before,
Right.
right? So don't just assume because there's a post that you're going to have 5 guests.
Right.
Okay. There's a lot of follow-up and relationship building through that process. And I got to tell you, my friends, just because you invite them to dots, that's not the extent of your relationship. But yeah, like a relationship gets to go deeper here, but then you also have a relationship with another amazing human. Like it goes so much deeper than just a membership.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm just going to throw this here at the end because not everybody gets this. Networking is important, connections important. But I believe polka dots, my vision for polka dots is that you utilize it in different ways throughout your life. So it's this community that you have a move, you have, maybe a relationship end, you have an empty nest situation, and a series of friends drops off. That Polka Dot Powerhouse is a community of women who are with you through all the different parts. And it's not like a compartment you have to cut off now. It's just you utilize it in a different way depending on where you are and in life and what you want to do.
Absolutely. It grows with you. For real, it does, right? And when I think about it, that the folks who first were like opened the door for me, like they're still there. And I've also built relationships with other people's and other, yeah, it took me 2.5, 2 years to get to know someone, right? But they were here the entire time. But right here, right now is the time for us to connect, see where a relationship goes, season, reason, lifetime, all those things. So, my friends, again, I'm gonna keep taking the same words that I feel very compelled by today. Show up. Just show up.
Love
Make
it.
an invitation, show up in a meeting, show up and ask a question. If you're like, how do I get more out of this? We know how, but you got to show up.
Love it. That's the quote for the day is just show up.
Show
Let's
up.
love it. Well, Jen, congratulations on hitting this huge milestone. We have so much to learn from you and so much to love about you. And I just want to remind you that it is an honor to call you my dot sister slash sibling.
Yes. Thank you, Shannon. It's an honor to be here. And again, because we both have people who are no longer with us, I just want to say thank you to Tina again and again and again, because it all happens for a reason. And I appreciate being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Until next time, we hope that you are finding joy and seeking connection and embracing sisterhood. So have a great day. Bye-bye.